So, in terms of mind, why do we struggle with mental health? And the short answer is we are prisoners of people's opinions because we think success means looking important to others. We actually get dopamine highs, that's the happiness chemical, by working towards good goals. That's a very short answer, and I'm going to try to break that down. But I just want to remind people this is a live stream. Feel free to ask questions, disagree, whatever you want in the live chat. And if you don't make it to the live show, you can comment in the not so live chat. I always do reply to that. But anyway, so we are prisoners of people's opinions. Okay. Why are we prisoners? Because we often don't do things we want to do because we're so scared we will look stupid to other people. And that's a very important part of most people's psychology. So most people prefer to be miserable than to stand out. Okay, and we're going to talk about later on the show why and how do we not fall for that trap, but that would be most people. Okay, and one of the ways we can not fall for that trap is to change our view of success. So in modern Western materialistic societies, success is all about getting stuff. And why do we want stuff? Okay, we want stuff to impress people that we don't really care about. We work at jobs we don't care about to get stuff we don't need to impress people we don't care about. And that's a really sad understanding or concept of success, and it traps us because that idea, if you think about success, is not just about things really. Why do we have the things? Is to look like something, to impress people, things we really don't need. And so, if we need to impress people, we're actually trapped or prisoners of their opinions because we might get something really expensive, like a really expensive car, and then we'll go, hopefully, somebody will make a comment about my nice car. We're trapped by that. And what happens if somebody doesn't make a nice comment about your car? Then you have to possibly buy a more expensive car. Yeah, and in fact, you probably will buy a more expensive car if you're dependent on that because you'll get maybe a nice comment, but then you'll get used to those nice comments, few nice comments, or your car gets old, and then need to buy a really expensive car to get more pats on the back. So you really are a prisoner or a slave to people's opinions if that's your view of success. Trying to look more important than people makes you actually a slave to all those people you're trying to become more important to. It's a really sad kind of approach to life as well, just trying to become more important to other people. We don't realize, we don't really word our idea of success in that way. But if you think about the common way of, you know, looking at success in the modern age, it's to become somehow famous. Why? What does famous mean? To become more important than other people. Why do you need to be famous? What value has that? So that people kind of go, oh, you're so great. Great to who? Great to them. Okay, if you were less great than they were, then, you know, they wouldn't think you're so great. So I know it sounds really harsh, but that's what most people's or the common view of success is. And that's why so many people struggle with mental health. They are prisoners of other people's opinions. Okay, so how do you actually get past that? What do you do as a much better alternative? It's to do what psychologists have known for a very long time, actually, but most people don't know. And this is what this show is about, using science and logic to tell you really simple things to improve your mental health and everything to do with your happiness. So we actually get this thing called a rush of dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical, it works in your sort of between your neurotransmitters, very complicated stuff. I don't even know much about it. I'm not a doctor, right? But I learn enough to know tell you the basics, right? And it basically fires off this kind of natural high, like a drug high, but it's natural, it's part of your body. And you normally get these highs when you're doing something your body wants you to do, what you're designed to do. So you are actually designed to do good things, but not only do good things, to do things to work towards them. You just get rewarded simply to work towards those good things, even if you don't achieve those good things. So have good aims, basically, and you feel better about it. Um, and so that's an alternative view of success. If your success idea of success is to make things better, you get excited by doing those things. That excitement is the dopamine getting to you. And also, you feel better about yourself as a human being. So there's another element that I didn't really mention in that summary. Okay. And that is psychologists have known that real happiness, lasting happiness, comes from meaning. Now, it's really weird because in modern society, we're told that there is no meaning to life. Okay. And it's kind of like a joke. There's a movie where they say the meaning of life is 42, right? Um, and without meaning, we're really miserable. So do search a book that I keep referring to, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Very important book in terms of psychology, and it talks about listening to your conscience, finding meaning by doing the right thing. Those are the actual things that actually, if anything, makes you feel successful, because success is a very vague word. It's more like a feeling, and you get that feeling most by doing great things. Now, we can get trapped sometimes by, you might be doing something good and you say, oh, nobody seems to, pat me on the back. That's a bit of a trap. That's kind of when you're trapped between the two different kinds of success, the success that most people are following, which makes most people miserable. So you don't really want to follow majority. In general, you should really avoid following the majority, because the majority don't know what they're doing. Majority by default is just the way statistics go, it's just the way populations work. Okay. That the majority don't have a clue what they're doing. So you really do want to avoid that and probably go for the minority. Like, what is the minority doing? Let's see what they're doing. That's more interesting and more chance of you being successful. So if you look at something um, like a normal population, it's usually described. I'm trying to draw a bell curve. Do check it up, right? And the people who make all the changes, or the great changes in the world, are like I think 3%. Okay, and then there's a kind of another few up to the 13%, which includes the first 3%, are the people who copy or adopt. That they call the early adopters. Okay, so the first 3% are called the innovators. The next 13, including the first 3%, are called the early adopters, I think. I'm not sure if I got the numbers exactly, but they're really tiny percentage of people who do things differently, and everybody else are just a copycat. So they're copying lots of miserable habits, because you can see, for example, um, uh, what's it called? Suicides are going up and up in the West. It's kind of one of the major causes of death at the moment. We kill ourselves because basically because we're so bad at happiness. So you don't want to copy the majority, because the majority are doing really badly despite having lots of food, and we actually more people are dying from eating too much than too little. So it's not like we don't have enough things. It's just that we don't know how to manage our lives. So that's what, one of the probably the key thing that we're suffering from in mental health is we are running towards this idea of success that has the opposite effect of making us happy. Yes, it's the opposite of what we should be doing. We have an idea that we want to look important. We want to get stuff to look important to other people, and we think we will make ourselves more important than them. But what actually happens is we actually become slaves to them, because we are slaves to their opinions. So the alternative, in short, is be good. If you're being good, you will love yourself, you become more confident, you will like your life, and you'll have meaning, and it'll be awesome.